Unique set of courses is in high demand at UW-Platteville this semester. The university is offering online cannabis education certificate programs for students who are interested in all aspects of the industry. Topics include the business of the cannabis industry, cannabis healthcare and medicine, and an agricultural course that teaches students how to grow the plant commercially. The classes are through a partnership with Green Flower, which is a national cannabis curriculum provider. Though growing cannabis is not technically legal here in Wisconsin, Green Flower's CEO says that people can gain experience by practicing with hemp or other similar plants.
Because cannabis is fairly stigmatized and is also a brand new industry, most people don't really understand what those roles are. They don't understand the opportunities, and they certainly don't realize that there's this exciting new career path in front of them.
Simon says that this is one of the fastest growing industries in the U.S. and pointed that more states are moving to legalize it. Here in Wisconsin, Governor Evers has called for cannabis legalization, but those efforts have not yet been successful.